So guys, welcome back to the channel and please don't forget to like and subscribe. Today we are going to discuss about ballast water management. So let's see about the ballast water management. So ballast water is mainly carried on the ships for the stability purposes and the distribution of the weight. And like this, we have ballast tanks on the ship and it is essential for the ship's stability and proper weight distribution. Otherwise, the ship will capsize. But when this ballast is pumped out, they can we pump out all the normal organisms also like this, you can see. So these were taken from the port of ballasting and it came with the ballast water, seawater, which we took into the ship. And while pumping out, these are also pumped out. So these shells and starfishes and these things, when they go into the other foreign environment, they cause a lot of ecological imbalance, and many of the original species of that place turn away from that place. Like you can see here, these fishes and turtles, they are turning away from these microorganisms because the habitats are devastated. So these microorganisms, they cause very long-term economic damage to the local communities, and it's very costly to remove them from the ship. And if the crew is not complying with so there are ballast water regulations to minimize this organism transport from one place to another, and that is coming from our ballast water management convention. And if these regulations are not complied, then the different flag state and port state inspections can detain the ship. They can invalidate the ballast water certificate, and they can detain and restrict the entry of the ship in that port, like Australia, Canada, and all. They can also impose criminal liability on you for damages. And because of this, we need to know ballast water management convention so that I don't go to jail, or we are not imposed with fines, and the ecological and environment balance is maintained. Proper training in ballast water management convention is necessary, which we are going to do now. So let's see what are the rules and regulations. So first is that we have to discharge the ballast from at 200 nautical miles and 200 meters depth. And if 200 nautical miles distance from land is not available, then 50 nautical miles is sufficient. Otherwise, we take a place is suggested from the port where we are going. So we have to see the requirements for ballast water exchange, rules and requirements, ballast water management plan, and ballast water record books, which are as per ballast water management convention, and some precautions. And also different, like say different countries have separate precautions. Then how to respond in case of any inspection or taking samples of ballast water, and what all things are in coming future regarding ballast water management convention. So all these things we will see in this. So what are the different ballast water exchange methods and rules and requirements? We have basically flow through and sequential method. So let's see these methods. It's empty and refill. So we empty the ballast water in the sea, and then fill it with ballast water in the middle of ocean. That's we discussed 200 nautical miles and 200 meters depth. So with this exchange at mid-ocean, generally we have less microorganisms, and the microorganisms don't travel at a very far distance. So with that, the traveling of microorganisms is reduced. So distance from land should be 200 nautical miles and depth at least 200 meters, 2000 meters, sorry. And there is in US especially, there is a EPA general permit requirement for this, And if the ship is coming from Pacific near shore voyages, they can conduct a ballast water exchange around 50 nautical miles. If it is they are not moving more than 200 nautical miles in their voyage, so they should not deviate from the voyage to go 200 nautical miles. They can do it within 50 nautical miles. And even this is not possible, then they can get permission from the port, that's coastal state, to get a designated area for ballast exchange. So US, Canada, and Australia are very strict about this, and they have Clean Water Act, and in that all these rules are mentioned, which are much stricter than IMO MARPOL ballast water management rules. Also, we are going to have Annex 7 of MARPOL for ballast water management convention, which is suggested. So this is the empty and refill method. So you just empty the tanks and refill them again. So this is a ballast water exchange method, but stability of the vessel is generally very risky in that. So we will talk about that in a separate video, how to take care of the stability during empty and refill. But 100% of volume exchange has to be done in this, or maximum if it is reduced up to 90% because of some mud or sludge in the tank. Then we have the flow through method. So we keep pumping the tanks with the ballast till that 3 times or 300% of the volume is exchanged and forced out of the pumping. So 300% is exchanged, and with that we consider that maximum microorganism changes take place. This method was developed because it does not hamper the stability of the vessel that much, but it has a lot of structural pressure on the tanks, because tanks, when they are fully compressed and filled up to the sounding pipes, air pipes also, because it's flowing from the air pipes, so tanks are not designed for that much high pressure up to that height, and for long time it should not be done. Then, so if more than 8 cubic meters of ballast is left in any of your tank, you have to give a notice of intent. This is for your US waters, that how much every port we are going, we are nowadays asked to fill up a ballast water exchange form and ballast water declaration. So in that we have to declare whatever quantity is remaining in all our tanks and how much ballast we will load or discharge at that place, and what is the point of origin of that ballast. So if you're going to discharge more ballast, we have to give the notice of intention NOI form to US. To all the forms are submitted electronically. Then the ship should have a ballast water management plan approved by the flag state, which will give the different exchange method, treatment system, and the rules of different countries for ballast water. And it will be inspected. So ballast water records, for form for ballast water record book, which you will see, and all this have to be kept ready for inspection every time on the ship. So these are the requirements which will be listed in your ballast water management plan for ballast water management convention. So ballast water management convention was entered into force, adopted in 13 February 2004, and it entered into force after ratification for existing ships from 8 September 2017. And it includes both your exchange methods and treatment systems, which has got 22 articles, 2 appendices, and it has regulation D1 and D2 standards. D1 is for exchange standards and D2 is for treatment standards. So which after 2017, how the ships in periodically will be fitted with treatment systems. So the main aim is to minimize and ultimately eliminate slowly, phase-wise, the risk of biodiversity, that is shifting of microorganisms from one place to another and damaging the other environment and human health risks which arise from the transfer of this aquatic organisms, and a lot of cost which is behind this removal and cleanliness, and also causing the global warming and environmental effects. Then we should know about the application. So this convention applies to all internationally trading vessels which are registered in their respective signatory flag states who have signed this convention and their waters, and also applicable to submarines, floating crafts and platforms, storage units, and storage and offload units which are as per the convention. It does not apply to vessels which are trading in coastal waters because it is carrying the same microorganisms. Now the requirements, as we discussed, that in flow through or sequential method, at least 95% volume exchange should be there, and it can be done by empty or refilling sequentially, or pumping through 3 times the volume of each ballast water tank. And when you are pumping less than 3 times the volume, it can be demonstrated that 95% volume exchange is done, then you can do it. Then 200 nautical miles and 200 meters depth by IMO, and 2000 meter depth for US. Then we have a D2 standard for existing ships or a treatment system which should coincide with the next renewal date of vessel's international oil pollution certificate. So any ship which is constructed before September 2017, whenever there is the next IOPP survey or renewal survey, with that this treatment system has to be installed. And ships which are constructed after September 2017, this treatment system will be installed when at the time of construction only, or keel laying. Now there is some relaxation also given for this. Then there is a requirement about the number of organisms, so about 10 micron viable organisms, relating to that how much toxic and how much environmentally harmful they are. There is a specification for each microorganisms which is not required in detail that much for us, but when the treatment systems are developed, they are tested as per this criteria, so that they can filter or kill this much amount of organisms. Then, as we saw, that all officers and ship's rating should be trained and familiarized with this ship's pumping plan, ballast lining. So as generally when a cadet joins or anybody joins the ships, they should be familiarized with the ship's ballast water pumping piping plan, positions of air and sounding pipes, location of tanks, manholes, compartments, tank suction pipelines, pumps, ratings, pressures, capacity, sounding equipment, valves are working, everything, stability calculations, everything. Then as per the convention, the ship needs to have ballast water management plan and ballast water record book and a ballast water management certificates for ships more than 400 GRT. So we have a slowly elimination method. So first we had D1 standard for exchange, then we had D2 standard for treating and reducing the amount of organism, and slowly we will increase the stringence, and by 2024 all the ships which should meet D2 standard by 8 September 2024. So it will starting from 2017. So new ships will already be existing. For existing ships, for till the first IOPP survey, they will be fitting this treatment systems. And if like ship is built just before 2017, so after 5 years they have a renewal survey, so till 2024 they can fit this treatment system. So then we have exchange, sequential flow through and dilution, and treatment systems, mechanical, physical and chemical methods, or we have some sediments or methods, or we can give to reception facilities as per ballast water management convention. Then we have to keep some records in the ballast water record book and educational aspects in training. So, so this is a list of different methods for treating ballast water systems. First, the filtration method by some hydrocyclone or some normal filtration or coagulations, that is adding of some material. Then chemical disinfection, where we add some chemicals, or dechlorination, like adding chlorine in some swimming pools to treat ballast and killing some bacteria organisms, or putting some ozone materials, or chemical biocidals, parasitic acid. Then physical disinfection by UV ultraviolet rays or deoxygenation plants, or heat agitation by cavitation or ultrasonic rays or waves. So this is the ballast water management plan which should be there on the ship, and it should mention the ballast water management officer who is doing handling the ballast. Training and handling practices, all crew should be familiar and sign with it. All the different countries requirements will be there. It should be in the ship's working language, and it should be translated to French or Spanish if that is the ship's working language. Then we will see the ballast water record book. What are the entries we have to do, from where, date and time, how the from where the ballast water was taken, when the ballast water was exchanged, by which method, quantity, soundings, initial quantity sounding, final quantity sounding, position. So this is a ballast water record book file. You can see all the entries, which tank, and soundings, quantities, which method was used, how much time exchanged, what was the water depth, what was the sea height, the pumps were used or by gravity, how much time it take, date, position, starting, stopping. And then all these records are inspected by the port state and flag state inspectors, ship's internal auditors, company. You have to keep these records for around 3 years. Ship's ballast water pumping and piping plan should be attached, and all the MARPOL rules also should be there. And final pages to be signed by master. Now let's see some precautions when you are doing ballast water exchange. Should little bit slow down the speed. And all this planning of ballast water exchange should be done in advance, because it takes around 1 day or 2 days depending on the ship, probably carried out in the daytime. It should not be done in the night time, because there are so many creatures which come to the surface in the night time. So you should know it's not a particularly sensitive sea areas with all the biological environments, that places we are not allowed to do ballast water exchange. So coral reefs, marine sanctuaries, or where you have too much of sewage near to the rocks, near to the this thing, you should not do. Where the depth is less, these ballast water exchanges. And different ships have different methods of plans, so you should check your ballast water certificate, which plan is approved for you and which treatment system is required. If you are not able to do anything, you have to report to the port. So ballast water reporting form is given by all the agents of ports, and also sampling is done many times. Everything should be water tightness of your manholes and all should be checked. There should be no leaks in the ballast from the hydraulic lines and all. You should be familiar with the ship's ballast water capacity and pump in good condition, because with time the pumping capacity is reduced and timing might be delayed when rough weather predictions should be taken into account, because as we discussed, stability is affected with the ballast water, and if you're in heavy weather and ship is rolling and you have very light ballast, then your ship can capsize. So we have to take care of stability and stresses a lot. Most of the ports require 24 hours before you have to send all these reporting forms of ballast water. So ships are being fitted with these types of different ballast water treatment systems, and by 2024 we expect all the ships to be fitted and comply with this. Mostly, many times sampling is done by different states to check the amount of organisms and generally salinity, and if there is any oil sheen or any mixture leakage in the tanks. Now the last thing is that maybe because of some older vessels or some vessels, they are not be able to fit with the onboard treatment system unit, which may be uneconomical because they have congested space or they are very old or because of some other restrictions. So there is a new InvaSafe mobile ballast water discharge technologies invented, where in port the ballast water processing can be done. So these ships will have a ballast water exemption certificate for not installing the treatment system, and when these ships go into the port, they give the ballast to these ports with the pipe connection, and the ports, they treat the ballast. So again, training for the port people is required for these. So these are the photos of the new shore ballast water treatment systems. Now then, next thing is in ballast water convention is sediment management. So removing of the mud, sludge and other particles which are collected in the bottom. So we have to clean the ballast tanks before inspections. So we can flush with clean water, high pressure waters or like that. Demucking also we do in dry docks also. And manual cleaning also is done while making entries. We also check like enclosed space to check the proper gases and all precautions. So that's all about our ballast water management convention and requirements. So please do subscribe, like and comment if you have any doubts or how we can improve or any more videos you want, and stay connected. Thank you.